I'll put the buck on Donald Trump seeing the inside of a jail cell at some point during the course of this trial, because he will continue to push the boundary. And Judge Merchan, I think, will have to
Well,
order him into confinement.
hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. So let's talk about, first of all, I know you've been saying it every day about, that he needs to go to jail. But
Yeah.
can we talk about, is he going to, and if not, why not? There's one analysis I wanted to get your reaction on. The judge, one analyst said the judge at a minimum has to have a hearing under New York state law. It's not the judge being weak or feckless or afraid of Donald Trump. The law says there's a process he has to follow. My big question is, why is the judge waiting, though, until the 23rd, I guess 4 days from now, to even have that hearing in the first place? He could have done so yesterday or today to really send that message that this is important to the court and this conduct needs to stop. What is your take on that?
So my take is, under New York state law, there are two kinds of contempt. There's contempt that occurs in the presence of the judge.
Right.
In other words, in court. That's where, just like in the movies, you could see Judge Merchan bang the gavel, say, I'm holding you in contempt and jailing you for 30 days. That would be a summary contempt procedure. But because he did not commit these violations of the gag order in the presence of the court, he posted them, right?
Yeah.
The law provides that there has to be notice and an opportunity to defend. So that has to be set sometime off in the future. And the judge ultimately gave him about a week. And, I don't fault him for that, even though we all know the time is of the essence, because Trump will continue to endanger witnesses, jurors, and everybody else.
Well, and here's what I was going to say. I mean, obviously, responsible media organizations, at least, are trying to limit information about the jurors. But some people were saying, how does that matter when you've got Fox News, who's literally having segments called Meet the Jurors? And they clearly, Glenn, are trying to blow up this case in Donald Trump's favor, right?
Yeah, they are. And Judge Merchan has put some more restrictions on what information will be publicly available about the jurors. And here's the thing, Steph. I've had cases where juror fear and intimidation was injected into the trial by a defendant or by his criminal associates. And it's bad and it's dangerous. But here's the thing. It never inures to the benefit of the defendant. You don't want jurors feeling scared, having a personal stake in the outcome of a case. But ordinarily, it only turns them against the defendant. It doesn't benefit the defendant. So, yes, we want the jurors protected and we want Donald Trump convicted.
Yeah. I mean, Glenn, I guess the good news is that was pretty stunning that we got, that the judge yesterday said we have our jury, that they have, and, they may obviously have the rest of the alternates today, meaning we're off to the races on Monday, right? So I guess he's, moving this along, which maybe is the best thing you can do. Let's send him to jail for real.
Yeah, it was remarkable that they seated 12 jurors in less than 3 trial days. And that's really a tribute to Judge Merchan's decision.
Yeah.
When the first 96 jurors came in, he said, who thinks they can't be fair? Raise their hand. And he summarily dismissed those people, which actually makes some sense in hindsight. Usually what we do, Steph, is we talk to each one of them and we try to sort of figure out why it is they believe they can't be fair. That would have been a waste of time. So I think Judge Merchan made the right, though unorthodox, decision in jury selection.
But what worries me, Glenn, we talked about this in the first segment, is just, when people say you have Trump derangement syndrome, it's like, right, people had Hitler derangement syndrome. If you don't think he's a despicable criminal POS, you're not paying attention. Like, how do you get a fair trial? You know what I mean? I'm afraid all of the, if we played some of the dismissed jurors, they're, of course, all the fact-based, reasonable people. I mean, do you worry about who is on this?
I worry, but I believe they're impaneling a fair and impartial jury. It's not that you can't have strong feelings one way or another, but you have to be the kind of person, Steph, who cares enough about the rule of law that they can say, you know what, I can set aside my feelings, my beliefs, my ideologies, and I can decide this case based only on the evidence I see. Frankly, I am a huge Trump critic because he breaks the law early and often.
Right.
But if you put me in a juror's chair, and you said, now, Glenn, you're required to follow the law and decide this case based only on the facts. I'm telling you, I could do it.
Yeah.
People might not believe it, and
Yeah.
there might be an appearance problem. But if you really care about the rule of law, you can discharge those duties as a juror.
No, I'd be the same as that one juror. My interview would be the shortest ever. They were like, "Can you be fair?" She's like, "No, I hate him." I mean, but that's what we're saying. I think our side tends to tell the truth and be fair, whereas that's what I'm concerned about is exactly what Jesse Waters tweeted about. That, because they're defending a lying POS, they're going to lie to get on the jury, to try to be that one person that hangs the jury.
But here's the thing, Steph. Their social media is being scrutinized by both sides, the prosecutors and the defense attorneys. And here's the thing that everybody should remember because it doesn't get enough attention. Do you know the prosecutors found that one of the jurors, I think he was maybe juror number 4, had said some things on some social media posts that he did not reveal during jury selection. And those things were really anti-Trump. Mm-hmm. So you would think, oh, we got a ringer, right? The people who hate Trump, we got a ringer on the jury. You know what the prosecutors did? They said, Judge, we have an obligation to make sure this process is fair to Donald Trump, not only to the people of New York. So we're bringing this to your attention. And ultimately, that juror was excused. Wow. What does that show? It's the opposite of a witch hunt, right? It is all about prosecutors acting the way they must, being fair to the defendant.
So, this story about whether, he's going to get sent to jail on the contempt order or whatever, I wanted to get your take. This was I don't know, is this a right-wing guy on CNN? I don't know. He said, I think if he does go into this hole, if it were to happen, first of all, I think you probably would see civil unrest across the country, certainly in some cities. That's one. And two, politically, if I'm the Biden campaign, I don't want to necessarily see him in jail because that's not going to get more people, because that's going to get more people inflamed and fired up. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's necessarily great for the country, even if we're bending the rules for someone. Isn't that the antithesis of our democracy and our Constitution? That we're scared of the bullies, so let's not have justice for everybody.
Yeah, let's not follow the law or apply it equally to everybody, depending on the collateral consequences. If that is the road we go down, then our criminal justice system is lost. I happen to believe he's going to end up in jail. I had lots of defendants who violated court orders. And what would happen is usually the first violation, judge would give them a stern talking to and say, next time there will be sanctions. Second violation, there would be sanctions. At the second violation, the judge will say, I'm going to impose these relatively low-level sanctions. Do it one more time, and I'm going to order you into a jail cell. Now, I think we're already sort of at the second violation stage. There are more than 7, I think, that are being offered by the prosecutors that they're seeking contempt of court for.
Yeah.
So if I had to bet my $1, Steph, that's my betting limit. I'm not a gambling man, not a high roller. I'll put the buck on Donald Trump seeing the inside of a jail cell at some point during the course of this trial because he will continue to push the boundary. And Judge Merchan, I think, will have to order him into confinement.